All right, so I really wanted to do this clip. I haven't seen it yet, but I just really want to see what type of explanation Nick gives about, Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, because he came up with the most insane take ever that the Lakers were going to win in 6. So I really want to see if he goes back on that or if he somehow tries to twist and justify. So let's take a listen and we'll break it down.
Denver unbeatable, bro?
Well, look, they were, I think, all of our picks to win the championship. Obviously, you've kind of swayed if you don't think they'll win this series. But I'm not going to say, look, let's see Minnesota. I'm talking about this series, the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers can beat them. I mean, that's not a revelation. No, it's 9-0. This is, Nick, if you look at LeBron's career, I'm not even counting his first stint in Cleveland when he didn't have enough help. But when he has had help in Miami and then back to Cleveland and then L.A., the teams that have given him problems are teams.
Correct.
Real teams, smart players.
That's right.
Well coached. They defend, and now Denver's a top 10 defense.
Even the end of his time in Cleveland, the big three Celtics, and then the Spurs.
Because those three, the big three in Boston complemented each other, right?
100%.
The Spurs, even when Duncan was old, and I'm talking about even the year they won it in 2013, obviously the Spurs gave them a lot of trouble in the 7-game series. But teams that play that 5-man offense, the ball's moving, it's whoever is open shoot, not just we got our 2 guys and everything goes through them. And that's what Denver is. It was San Antonio first, then Golden State, and Denver is that type of team. If you just look at their pieces individually, it's not going to wow you. Aaron Gordon was to some degree viewed as not a bust.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, a little disappointing when he was in Orlando,
he's supposed to be the franchise. He's supposed to be like Paolo.
He was going to be great. But he fits. They're stars in their roles, as the players like to say and the coaches like to say. And so I do think they just have the Lakers' number. Like I said, the Lakers aren't bigger than them. They're not more skilled than this team. And this is a smart team. So yeah, I think they just.
So just to build on that, this is a graphic from Josh. Denver was the only team this weekend that had all 5 starters score in double figures. Also the only team to have each of the starters attempt 10 shots. So it's not like somebody.
And this is what I want to point out real fast. I'm going to let the rest of this clip play because this is something different. But I've said this now in a couple of videos, and in case you haven't seen them, I want to just emphasize this. Stop with the BS narrative that Jokic is winning all by himself. Just stop. They have a squad. They are well coached. Michael Porter Jr. is great. Gordon is great. Not only do they score points, but they also do other things. Getting rebounds, getting other assists, playing great defense. Gordon is an elite defensive player. Murray is unbelievable. KCP hits big shots when needed. So enough of this nonsense that Jokic is doing it all by himself. Jokic is obviously the best player. Jokic, of course, makes these players better. But these players aren't a bunch of scrubs nothingness, and then Jokic just magically says, abracadabra, and now they're suddenly amazing. That's not how basketball works, okay? So I'm just so sick of this narrative that Jokic is just, doing it with just a bunch of ragtag scrub players, a bunch of, 19-year-olds, and that's it. That couldn't be further from the truth, okay? Because there are other players like LeBron, Embiid, even AD, I guess for that matter, even though LeBron and, they're on the same team, puts up similar numbers, especially points-wise, and rebounds and assists, as Jokic, yet their team still loses. Because, why? Because the Nuggets have a better team, which is what they're essentially saying right now, Brew. The Nuggets have a better team than the Lakers, the Sixers, the Knicks, any of these other teams. Jokic plays with better, more consistent players. That's the reality.
Everybody's going to eat.
So that's actually, that stat is actually why I don't think they're unbeatable. But I was looking at this in more.
We knew he was going to twist
not
it
just
somehow.
the Lakers series. I thought this was a question of does after the beginning of the playoffs, does it look like Wilds' tweets are correct that nobody's beating Denver in a 7-game series? So I think that is partially because they have an excellent starting 5, but also partially because there's no one on their bench they they really trust or that's going to take a bunch of shots.
Brown's going to have a hot game.
Brown's good. Peyton Watson's okay. He had some moments.
Peyton Watson, he had one of the better games of his, probably the best playoff game, certainly the best playoff game, but one of the, and then if we're in a place where
and
Reggie
you don't
Jackson,
like Reggie, but
no, he was bad. He's always bad in the playoffs. If Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan are key parts of your postseason rotation, I have questions. Now, and I'm talking about this series, but if you're looking at next round, playing either Phoenix or Minnesota, a Minnesota team that has played them tough for a couple of years.
Phoenix doesn't have much of a bench.
No, well, I don't believe in Phoenix. I think Minnesota's the tougher team and the best defensive team in the league for a reason. Listen. Jokic is a truly unbelievable all-time great player. You know what I mean? I've said it 100 times. I'll say it again. I obviously was late to that train, but I have a ticket now. There's no denying it. I don't look at them, though, as an all-time team. All-time teams look unbeatable. This Nuggets team, to me, is you are super reliant on that starting five, which only Boston can rival. But after that, I think and maybe it's not the Lakers, but I think there are teams that can press on some pressure points against them. And I do think it is noteworthy that after the second round, they won't have home court theoretically, depending on what OKC does, but they're not going to have that altitude home court advantage in the following series. So Vegas odds disagree with me, right? Vegas says it is Denver, Boston. It's going to be the finals almost no matter what. I don't feel that way, even if, I'm wrong about the Lakers having a good shot against them. I look at them as the rightful favorite in the West, but a slight favorite, and they are right now a massive favorite.
Okay, but then why did he pick the Lakers to win? Is it because he wanted the clickbait thumbnail title that says Lakers will win in 6? I don't know. I think it's not always smart to make a crazy take just for clicks because it ultimately makes you look bad. Maybe he realizes that at the end of the day it doesn't matter because within a few days everyone forgets about it anyway. Does anyone remember that he picked CJ Stroud and the Texans to destroy the Ravens even though it happened the other way around? Did anyone remember that he picked the Cowboys to get to the Super Bowl, even though they got rocked by the Packers? No. I remember. I guess I'm keeping score. Maybe I don't know if you guys are keeping score, but it gets clicks. So I wonder because this is definitely typical what a lot of people do, not just Nick, but definitely Nick. Does Denver look unbeatable? No. And yet it's like, but then he says they're rightfully favored to win the series or to win the West and most likely will. And the only team that can rival them is either the Timberwolves or the Celtics. And yet then he picked the Lakers to win in 6. And it's just like, where is the consistency then? Because he said in another earlier segment, I don't know if it was earlier, but just different part of the show, when they were talking about the Clippers versus the Mavs. And he said, it is such an overreaction about the Clippers beating the Mavs. And I get that. I do get that argument. They always talk about, you never overreact to the first game of the playoffs. Nothing's ever as good as it seems. Nothing is ever as bad as it seems. That's pretty much just good advice for anything in general, in life. But especially in the first game of the playoffs when, you're playing the home team, and the home team, definitely has the advantage in that regard. And that's why all home teams won this past, weekend for the playoffs. But you have to look closer as to why these teams lost, why these games unfolded as they did. And when you really watch that game, you can see that the Lakers do not have what it takes. They do not have what it takes. They do not match up well. This whole idea that they match up well, that Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell can hold their weight against Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Murray, it's just not accurate. It's just not accurate. And AD's great, but he has to empty the tank, and LeBron obviously too. They have to empty the tank just to hang in. So those other guys have to really ball out. Why are we expecting those guys to magically ball out? Can they ball out for a game or two? Of course. Of course. Because they're not scrubs. They're not trash. The Lakers aren't trash. I'd already used this example about the Mavericks, but I'll use it again about the Lakers. The Lakers aren't, the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls. They're competent teams, They can play, and you still have LeBron James and AD, but they're on different levels than the Denver Nuggets. And LeBron runs out of gas. He had 0 or maybe ended up getting 1 shot attempt in the fourth quarter. And here's the thing. LeBron knows it. You can see LeBron's energy on the court. He's obviously trying, doing everything he can, but you can tell. When he really feels that they have a chance to win, like think about when he got real mad at J.R. Smith, it's because he knew in that moment, we had a chance. We truly had a chance. And it gutted him. It gutted him. He wasn't gutted this game because he knows. He's not dumb. He's not dumb. He is one of the smartest basketball players ever. He knows he can't beat the Denver Nuggets in a 7-game series. He knows. He's not stupid. So you never really saw him get frustrated. You never really saw him really engaged, being like, listen, everyone, you got to do this. You got to do that. X over there. O over there. You know, obviously I'm just making stuff up. But like, you know, this is what you got to do. Backdoor cuts, post up, this, that. He wasn't doing that. He was playing. He was trying his best. He was making the right plays. But he never felt that they had a chance. So I'm going to listen to LeBron. LeBron knows way more basketball than I do. He knows way more basketball than Nick Wright does. So those are just my thoughts. But yes, that's just the way I see it. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Does Denver look unbeatable to you? And do you think the Lakers have a chance or any other team have a chance against the Nuggets? Let me know in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely want to be part of. Something that we're really excited to engage with, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.